Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lien.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I want to say hello and welcome all of you to our live stream. And I want to, see if the volume as well as the video is working. So if everything's working good, give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can see me, you can hear me, and you're ready to talk markets. Actually, my swing trade for dollar yen is working out, so I'm going to take profits. Give me 1 second to do that. Hold on 1 second while I take profits on half my position. I'm just going to missed the perfect target, but I think we'll be okay. And I'll tell you about my trade in just a second. It was the short dollar yen trade off of Trump's headlines this morning. But, we'll go ahead and sorry. Just give me 1 second to manage this trade. Kicking off the week with another great trade for our BK traders. Hold on. Let me just close dollar yen at 155.81. Move stop to break even. Okay, fantastic. So those of you that are BK traders, hold on. My son wants his iPad time extended. So give me 1 second. They are off for Martin Luther King Day. So, they are. Can you please close the door, honey? All right. Guess what? He's ignoring me. He's 6 years old and he's a teenager already. All right. Okay. All right, my friends. You can hear me. You can see me. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. I want to talk first about what's moving the market right now. I can't do anything about it, right? BGBP, we're trying to work. They're here. They're awake, usually far too early than we want them to be. And I'm just glad he doesn't show himself on screen, which sometimes he likes to do because he's a rebel and he knows he's not allowed to do that. Anyway, let me share my headline screen. Now, I always encourage you all to use, some sort of, Twitter aggregator or X aggregator. And I know that Elon Musk has made TweetDeck Pro Twitter part of only a paid subscription. So, it's not ideal, but it really helps to keep things organized. It also helps you to figure out what's moving the markets right now as you're trying to figure out the movements. So the trade that we took this morning was in the dollar yen trade. And it was this trade here. Dollar yen was selling off. And I'll show you my trade in the in our Discord, and I'll tell you, what we did. So we basically sold dollar yen at 156.12 with a stop at 156.42, exit at 155.72, 40 pip target, 40 pip stop, and then a little bit more of a second target. So, this is what dollar yen looked like at 8:31. It had popped up 156.12. To be honest, I wanted to put on the trade before the headline. I was looking at it, and I was also busy multitasking, editing my video for the morning as well. So I was doing a bunch of things at the same time, and I was looking to put on this trade, to be honest, before the Trump headline. It's not as if I predicted the Trump headline, but what were my motivations for the trade? I mean, it was basically last week, we were coming off of, softer U.S. data, softer inflation data, softer retail sales data. And this week, I felt like there was a very good, this is BOJ week. So I felt like there's a very good chance the Japanese yen was going to strengthen going into the Bank of Japan meeting. And for those of you that are BK members, we talked about this on Thursday and Friday. We talked about how our game plan for the week is we looked at our trading schedule. We looked at how, BOJ was towards the end of the week. Markets were closed on Monday. And so, the opportunity would be to buy the Japanese yen, sell dollar yen ahead of the BOJ rate decision, and then to get out before it, because the BOJ may not be as dovish as the market wants it to be after the rate decision. I'll explain that in a minute. But my point is that we laid out the game plan for trading dollar yen in the beginning of the week, most likely in our swing trades, I said, on Friday. And that's part of trading well. For those of you who join me for our live trading, we always talk about, prepare a plan, trade a plan, and execute it when the data comes out. And that's the same with the reason why all of you are here with me this morning, is because we want to prepare and plan for the new trading week. So to be honest, I sold dollar yen before even the headline risk. But if you watched, and I'm sure none of you did yet because I just posted this, but if you watch, and I'm going to put my interview on CNBC last night, and you can find it on X, Kathy Lien. I posted it right here. You can click on this link. It was all about how I thought the dollar was going to weaken because I felt like Trump was going to walk back on some of the tariff threats. So this was last night. I did my CNBC interview at 5:30 p.m. last night. And I also, we also talked about buying yen on Friday. So I came in this morning and, I watched the price action for a little bit. Dollar yen was kind of strong. Then, by the time I finished my video, I decided, okay, let's think about selling dollar yen. And that's when I decided to sell dollar yen at 156.12. It had nothing to do with the headline. But, no surprise, when it comes to trading Trump, one of the most important things about trading Trump is, first of all, and I know that, first of all, how many people did not trade during the first Trump, we're not trading during the first Trump presidency? If you didn't say no, if you did say yes, because I always like to get a sense of whether or not you were in the markets at the time. Say yes if you were trading if you know what it was like to trade during Trump's first presidency. Say no if you only started trading during the pandemic, or you only joined recently. Yes, this is the trend I'm seeing, which is that most of you, some of you, maybe dinosaurs like me and Denise, who did trade during the first Trump presidency, but most of you were not trading during the Trump presidency. And so you did not know that this type of sudden headline risk before the market opened on, I don't even remember, the weekend was such a blur. I think it was on Saturday or Friday night, he had launched the Trump meme coin. These things happen all the time under the Trump presidency, after market hours, when most of us are kind of relaxed or just waking up. And so this type of headline surprise is something that you should come to expect for the next 4 years. So what does that mean? What does that mean for you as a trader? How does that affect your trading? Well, what that means is that you need to make sure that if you've got trades floating on, they're in the direction of what he's most likely to say. Now, I know all of you are laughing right now, because who can predict what Trump says or doesn't say? Certainly not me. Yes and no. We kind of know what his personality is, which is he talks big and he maybe raises all these threats. We saw that with TikTok this weekend, right? He was the one who actually threatened so TikTok should be banned under his first presidency. And now he looks like the hero. Now he looks like the hero that's going to save TikTok, right? This is the way Trump is. During the election, he pumped up the threat of tariffs. And what caused my beautiful trade to hit first target? I got out at, you'll see my trade. I got out a little early at 155.80. Well, it didn't quite hit target, but if it didn't hit target, my traders should be out already, because with these abrupt moves, I always say, want to take profits quickly and then let the second part trail with the headline risk. So we click off half our position, we moved our stop to break even, and we're trailing the position. Where's the headline? Oops, sorry. This is the headline that everyone's talking about. Trump to lay out trade vision, but won't impose new tariffs yet. He kind of teased us about this on Friday. where we saw headlines saying that the U.S. and China had good conversations, had a good call, got a good conversation. So it was a signal, a tease that maybe he would walk back on those tariffs. And that is exactly what I laid out on the CNBC interview. So I hope that you'll watch this, because I talk about Trump, I talk about the dollar, I talk about the Japanese yen, I talk about the Chinese yuan. So we talked about a lot. It was actually a lot longer than I was prepared for. But let's go back to headlines. Okay. So he said that he was going to lay out his vision, but he wasn't going to do it on day one like he threatened during the election. And this is Trump. This is his personality. So if you were not trading during the first Trump administration, the smartest thing to do is try to think like him, if you can, and try to think like the way he would think. And, and that's what I do all the time. That's my job, which is why on CNBC, I laid out and said maybe he was probably going to walk back the tariffs and not be as threatening. And that is another reason why I felt confident enough to take this dollar yen trade. So, in 2 minutes, if dollar yen closes below my indicator line, 155.81, we're going to be zip sell. This is a zip sell signal. Background's red, zip sell signal. And that would confirm, give me a technical confirmation for my fundamental bias, which is BOJ rate hike, dollar weakening ahead of FOMC next week, and then, this whole tariff story. Now, you may say, Kathy, you had a zip sell signal here, and look, it didn't work. Yes, but one of the things that I always impress on you guys, and I always say, and I sound like a recorder, knowing when to trade and when not to trade is just as important. So we do not trade Sunday night. In general, period. If you look at my trading plan that we have for our members, we never trade the Monday open, Sunday, Monday, because of lower accuracy. And I said, this tonight and Tuesday, there could be holiday-like conditions, so we'll be more careful with our opportunities. So we don't trade Sunday night, Monday, because typically, for Sunday, Mondays, normally it's about a wash. 50% profitable, 50% unprofitable, not good enough for me. I like, 70% accuracy with my trades. And so it's not worth it to trade when it's only 50-50. And then you add to the fact that today is a holiday in the U.S. and U.S. markets are closed. And that gives us another reason why we should not be trading and we should not be taking this signal. So we planned ahead that we were not going to trade this. And yet this one on Tuesday was the perfect zip sell signal, because this was after the inflation report. And, we had this was at the Asia Open, perfect setup. So we traded this, but this is not in the time that we trade. So now the candle closed and we have our zip sell signal, and my second profit target would have been hit. So, this is, we're in this trade, and this is an explanation example of why I take this trade. I also like to look for what I call moving average clearance. So here we were selling off over a 156.12, and we have plenty of room to fall, where support for the next moving average was not until like 155. 4-hour chart, same story. We're selling over here, and we have no support until 155. 1 hour, there was some moving average support at 80, which is why I got out of the first half of the position early, because there was a little bit of support. But I feel, headline risk like this is significant, and I think it could have quite a bit of continuation. So, we still very much like this trade. And my second target isn't far. I could leave this floating, but, 155.52 is the second target. Last week, we made 213 pips on our swing trade. And we actually made 213 pips on our swing trade. And we made how much? 123 pips in our day trade for 336 pips last week. So this is how we create a plan and we put the plan into action. But back to talking about the markets in general as I'm kind of watching my trade. And I think I'm actually going to pull down my stop a bit for our BK traders. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this here with you is I'm going to say that we are going to move stop to 155.92. So we're going to lock in a little bit of profits. We don't need to be in this trade for longer than we need. And, if it goes back to 155.92, we should be out. Dollar yen is pretty hyper volatile, so it can do that. And, I'll be watching this trade very closely. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the week ahead. 155.52 is the second target, correct? But it's had a big move. And so I have some nice profits locked in. We may get out a little early, but I think ultimately 155 is probably support in dollar yen. All right. So I know this is dollar bullish, and really it's neutral bullish. And, the reason why it's neutral bullish is because I think that, I think I'm going to change this. As the news flows changes, I'm going to change this to bearish, and I'll explain why in a second. Because it's more neutral than bullish, and even though I'm long-term bullish the U.S. dollar, I am bearish this week, at least the front of the week. So we're going to turn this to bearish right now, and I'll explain that in a second. All right. So I'm bearish dollars this week. If you want like a detailed explanation, I have that in that video for CNBC that I did. But there are a couple of reasons why I am bearish US dollars this week. Number one is we have last week we had weaker data, we had weaker inflation data, we had weaker retail sales data. We also had a huge dramatic shift in what I called what the market was pricing in for rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Now, if you joined me last week, I talked about how the market, at the beginning of last week on Monday, the market was pricing in zero chance of a interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve. Okay, let's look at our trade for a second. I'm actually going to close this at, I'm going to wait for it to go a little bit more, 55. I'm going to close it because, and that's where it is at right now, which is just 3 pips away. There's no point in trying to squeeze more out of this trade. I think it will hit target, but I'm doing this live with you guys, so I want to bank these profits. And we have made, basically 88 pips on this trade this morning. So plus 88 pips on dollar yen this morning. So pretty good trade. If you made money, let's do the cash face, BK traders. Let me know, Denise, Andrew, if you made money, give me a cash and let me know that you made money trading this. This is live trade, starting at the New York Open. So let me know if any of you guys made money. We made 88 pips on this trade. I still think it's going to hit target, but I think maybe it might even retrace to the 75.80, given the opportunity to the downside. Okay, great job, Denise. Great job, David. Great job, BK traders who, banked this dollar yen trade this morning. And, and for those of you who didn't, I explained to you the rationale. This is the way we think. This is the way we talk. This is the way we plan our trades. And I certainly encourage you to become a BK member so we can do all of this together. All right. So I'm dollar bearish. And last Monday, I talked about the market was pricing in zero chance of a interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve this year. And I thought this was bananas. I thought this was crazy. I thought they were, smoking crack. That was not possible, that they would not cut interest rates this year. I mean, who really believes that the U.S. economy is going to roar as much as it will, as is necessary for there to be no interest rate cut? Yes, we may be optimistic about what the Trump presidency could bring, but I think none of you think that this is going to be boom times, that so much so that no interest rate cut is necessary this year. So I thought the market was bananas. And when the CPI and when the inflation report came out, the market kind of started to agree with me. So you can see how this stuff basically changed. A week ago, the market was not pricing in. The market was pricing in only, right now, rates are 4.25%, 4.5%. A week ago, the market was pricing in only a 50% chance of a interest rate cut this year and by June. And let's look at December. It was pricing in, I guess the January 13th data was showing like what I'm trying to basically 4, 5, 6, almost 70% chance of no interest rate cut by the Fed. Now, those odds are close to 85% of one interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve. And so, first of all, this shows you how much expectations have changed, can change in 1 week. But it also explains to us why the dollar has fallen and why it can fall further. Because those expectations have changed, come back to reality. And I think that, the dollar has not perfectly reflected that. I mean, look at this. We took profits on our dollar yen trade perfectly. This is a pretty good level, 155.80, to sell again, right at the moving averages. At worst, I think I like to look at my shorter term. I think 155.80 is like the perfect place to reload. I'm not, because I don't like to press my luck, and I know when I do, it typically goes wrong. But I think 155.80 for indicative trade purposes. I'm going to say if you want to reload, 155.80, where we are at 81 here is a good place, but only half position. Okay, not full position, my friends, because we already had part of the big move. So this is how we combine some of the moving averages. I'm a huge believer of moving averages. I think that moving averages are really, really valuable, and they tell you when to get out, when to get in, when to reload. Anyway, back to CME Fed Fund futures. So market is now pricing in, back to pricing in, 85% chance of a interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve this year. So this is more realistic. I still think 2 is going to happen. I don't think we're going to be in boom times and the economy is suddenly going to grow so tremendously that only 1 is necessary. I mean, 2 is already kind of conservative, I think, in light of the ECB doing 100 basis points, for example, this year. So I still think that the market's expectations are kind of overblown. So number 1, U.S. data. I'm dollar bearish because U.S. data was weaker last week. Number 2, CME Fed Fund futures have changed a lot to favor, to go from favor no interest rate cut this year to 2 interest rate cuts. Number 3, I'm super bearish dollars against the Japanese yen. I think that BOJ is going to raise interest rates. And I'm going to skip to the yen after this because I really want to talk about this. BOJ is going to raise interest rates at the end of the week. And number 4, what I encourage you to watch in my CNBC interview is exactly what happened this morning, which is that Trump, the reason why the dollar is down is because Trump is walking back some of his threats. And that is typical of Trump. Huge promises, huge threats. Markets get spooked, and everyone gets scared of what is to come and say, yeah, we'll do this, but maybe not immediately, like I promised. Maybe not day 1. Although day 1 was kind of really unrealistic because he'd probably need to talk with his cohorts, his peers, get things passed, things like that. Day 1 was unlikely. But a headline like this, after on Friday, Trump, China and U.S. having headlines saying that they had good discussions, is a sign that that the dollar could fall because he may not be as threatening as he was before. So I want to skip forward to the jab. And also this week, we don't have much in the way of U.S. data. We have the inauguration today. It's really going to be all about headline risk. We don't have much in the way of U.S. data. So it's all going to be what he says when he doesn't say it. A lot, I promise you, is going to be said over the next few days because he's going to, there's going to be a lot. You're going to have to be watching these headlines like a hawk. But there's very little data, only like S&P PMIs, UMich at the end of the week. The BOJ. So I want to talk about the BOJ. So the Bank of Japan meeting is, so the week is bookend by the inauguration and the BOJ meeting on Thursday evening, New York time, which is Friday morning in Japan. So the BOJ is widely expected to raise interest rates. It would be a huge shock and lead to a much bigger movement in the market if the BOJ did not raise interest rates. But let's think about this. What do we know about the Japanese? What are some of the things that we know about Japan's culture? They're very polite. You know, they have really good manners. They are very conservative. And so if you remember, the last time they raised interest rates, which I believe was in June or July, what happened after that? Nothing at all. They raised interest rates and they basically paused for 6 months because, you know, Japan is also a culture where there's a lot of shame. They don't want to be shamed. There's a lot of kowtow, I guess we call it in Chinese or maybe in Japanese too, where you don't want to be blamed and you don't want to take embarrassment from doing something that would cause a huge contraction in the economy. So at the time we talked about, this was like 6 months ago, a long time ago, how they raised interest rates, but they were not going to follow with more because they didn't want they wanted to see how the market would absorb the interest rate hike. And they wouldn't want to be embarrassed and be blamed for the ones that caused a contraction in growth as a result of improperly handling the interest rate hike. They'd rather raise their rates, do nothing, and be criticized for doing nothing, but allowing the economy to absorb it, respond to it, than be blamed for just a crash. And so how many of you think it's going to happen this time around? How many of you think that the Bank of Japan could take a similar attitude, that it could be not necessarily one and done, but one and done for a good couple of months? Now, this is a question to see if you're all awake and listening. If you think they're, say, one and done or back to back. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to say one and done for a while. This is my opinion. So, Denise says, I think it's 50-50 this time. Park says one and done for a few months. You know, some of you say back to back. You know, I love that. I love differing views. I love differing opinions.
Okay, just open up a poll for everybody in case they want to vote. So go ahead and vote if you think it's going to be one and done. And then at the end of the session, we'll see what everybody thinks.
Yeah. First of all, the fact that we all have different opinions is the reason why we're going to have volatility. Now, it could go one of two ways. It could be, like I said, it's not going to be one and done. It's going to be one, because they're not going to give such clear guidance and say one this year, no more. They're probably going to say one, and then, you know, we'll see how things go, meaning maybe it could happen 6 months from now, like another Moon says, maybe another one back in July, or maybe one in April, for example, because there's so much, I mean, think about it. There's so much uncertainty around what Trump will do too. So they don't know. I mean, they can't predict what Trump is going to do with the tariffs. I mean, today he says one thing, but maybe he gets serious about it come March, or even sooner. And so there's no benefit to them promising more, right? Because what happens if they promise more? If they promise more, the yen could skyrocket and the stock market could crash in Japan. And so because a strong yen hurts Japanese stocks. So there's no real benefit to promising, you know, that they're going to get more aggressive. So if that is the case, and I'm right, our trade will be what we're doing right now, buying yen ahead of the BOJ. And we have a good couple of days. BOJ rate hike is not until Thursday evening, Friday. And then getting out Thursday morning, New York time, and then not touching the yen again until Friday morning. That is the smartest game plan. I'm going to write this down again. My game plan, I'm going to say Kathy's game plan for yen will be to buy yen until Thursday a.m. New York. Do not trade yen Thursday night. And then back in yen for swing trades, most likely, Friday a.m. This is my game plan for the yen this week. And the yen will very much be the trade of the week. Although the dollar will be too, because for sure headline risk is really going to be the main story of for the dollar this week, because we don't have much in the way of big data. Now, I could be wrong. You know, some of you say, where are my friends who say back to back? Let's bring trader. Okay. I don't think that's going to be back to back. No, there's no benefit to promising anything. But what they could say is we could raise interest rates. They could say that inflation is still a problem and that they will need to continue to raise interest rates. So it is a similar guidance as what trader says, but not an explicit promise that it will come at the next meeting. So not an explicit promise that it will come at the next meeting. And so that though could be wildly we could completely reverse the outlook for the yen, and the yen that was selling off could end up rallying, and you know, we maybe see a recovery in euro yen, in Aussie yen, and Kiwi yen, for example, depending upon how the PMIs fare. So that's why you have to be careful, because you know, I have a strong opinion about how I'm going to trade in advance, but ultimately, while I do have a view on what I think the BOJ will do, which in my opinion is going to be one and done for a little bit, how they phrase their language is up to them. I mean, we can't predict what Trump says. We can't predict what these guys say either. But as traders, the smart thing to do is to figure out our game plan and to follow that game plan, which is, yes, you can trade yen, in my opinion, buying yen until Thursday morning, not touching it after the New York Open, and then back in on yen Friday morning for swing trades. Which the reason why I swing trades is because my swing trades have bigger stops. My swing trades always have 40 pip stops. My day trades always have 20 pip stops. So that is the way I think we should all think about BOJ. All right. So I'm bearish euros. Ultimately, you know, I'm very bearish euros, although, you know, we are seeing a bounce in the euro this week and today. And I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce, but I'm still bearish euros against a lot of the major currencies. This week, in some ways, like the appetizer to next week, because next week we have the and there may be more than this, but this is the only ones I can remember. We have the Federal Reserve meeting, we have the ECB meeting, and we have the Bank of Canada meeting. Maybe we have BOE too. I'm too lazy right now to look at the calendar, but those are the ones that, you know, are top of mind for me. So we know the ECB is going to cut interest rates 100 basis points this year because data has been weak. They've got political troubles. They're threatened with tariffs. Nothing is going well there. So I'm bearish euros, but we can't ignore the fact that the euro is up. It's, you know, everything is up a percent today. It's basing here, and it's all up a percent because of what's going on in the dollar. So nothing will be more important than U.S. dollar headlines this week. We have the German zoo survey tomorrow from the Eurozone, which, you know, you can, and as traders, we have to see, look at this. No matter how bearish the outlook for the euro may be, this and this is a bottom-end pattern. The instrument, euro, is trying to bottom. It's trying to bottom. It's trying to rally. It's rallying a little bit today off of the U.S. headlines. I'm still bearish, but, you know, can't ignore the fact that it's starting to bottom here a little bit. But the data this week will probably be weaker. Zoo survey will probably be weaker. PMIs will probably be weaker. Will it matter? That's really the question. Nothing will matter more than the U.S. dollar headlines from Trump this week. Thank you, Denise. We have Fed next week. We have ECB next week. We have Bank of Canada next week. BOE is not until February. That's why, Denise is our MVP today for helping us. Why did Euro Yen soar with the Trump tariff headline? We kicked off our talk this morning, Tim, about this, and I outlined, our dollar yen trade on this. Basically, what happened? Trump laid out a vision, but said that he was not going to impose tariffs yet. This is really the key. Where's my headlines? Right here. Trump will issue a memo, talking to investigate trade deficits and unfair trade practices. And this is Trump, which is that he makes big promises and then he walks back the promises. Tim, I encourage you to either rewatch the first 5 minutes or watch my CNBC interview. My X handle is Kathy Lien FX. I had a CNBC interview last night on Friday talking exactly about what this announcement was this morning. And he didn't make the announcement. I talked about how Trump makes big promises and he's probably not going to have as much teeth as, everyone feared. And this is what's happening. Anyway, so PMIs this week, PMIs for Eurozone, PMI for UK, PMI for Australia. And so all of those PMIs will most likely be weaker. And last week, we had a whole bunch of weakness in UK data, retail sales, inflation. This week, we have the employment report. Wage growth is going to be very important. And then on Friday, we have PMIs, lots of data from the Eurozone, UK, most of which will probably be a little bit bearish. But nothing matters more than the market's appetite for US dollars. Aussie, we're also bearish Aussies because, we had the mixed labor market numbers last week. We had, and in general, Chinese growth is subpar. So all of that is another reason to be bearish Aussies. So, I think that, Aussie is going to be lower, but none of that matters. Oh, my friends, our reload for dollar yen up plus 20 already. So if you're trading this live, because for some reason this turned into a live trading session, bank your pips. I still think it's going to go to 55. You can either trail your stop or bank your pips, but let's bank that retrace. I mean, support and resistance matters. I talked about how we were this, I said we took a profits in the first half of the position. I said that, a good place to re-enter would be a test of moving averages. When we looked at the shorter term time frames, we look at moving average clearance on the higher time frames to get into a trade. We look on reloads, shorter time frames, retraces, shorter time frames. So we looked at the 200 SMA, good place to re-enter at 155.80, and that is what we did here. I said re-enter here, 155.81. And, because we're re-entering, I still think it's going to go lower, but I think, you get another 20 pips out of it and you should be good. So let me know if you made money in that second reload in dollar yen. I know that, who's my friend here that reloaded? I saw you earlier. Another mutant just reloaded. Let me know. Did you make money? How low can it go? Ultimately, it can go to one. If we look at our higher time frames, it's going to go to at least 155.20, I think. But don't be greedy. Headline risk is crazy these days, and it's really significant. All right. So bearish pounds, bearish Aussies. It's also a big week for Canada. We have retail sales and inflation data. Remember, next week, we have the Bank of Canada rate decision. So retail sales, inflation data, and what's interesting, though, is remember, we had stronger CAD jobs. So we had stronger CAD jobs. And so with stronger CAD jobs, probably employment is going to be stronger. And then with inflation, we look at IV prices, IV PMI, okay? We look at IV PMI, and the price component of IV PMI actually dropped. So prices will probably be a little bit lower. So we have weaker prices, stronger retail sales most likely. So that's why I'm kind of neutral, because the tariffs are still a threat. Inflation data probably a little bit weaker, but retail sales could be stronger. Kiwi, is the superstar today. It's the strongest, best performing currency, up 1.5% almost, because there's no data for New Zealand. No, well, actually, no, I'm standing corrected. We have New Zealand PMIs coming out tonight. And last week, if you look, I think it was on Thursday evening, we had slightly stronger business manufacturing PMI. So tonight, but I don't like the fact that it's still below 50, which means that it's still contractionary. But nonetheless, tonight we have business PMI probably leaning a little bit to the upside, but because it's still contractionary, I don't love it. It's not really a real tradable data, but there's really nothing going on in New Zealand this week. It's going to trade on the market's appetite for dollars. So if you're looking for a currency, and that's part of the reason why it's so strong. It's so strong because there's nothing standing in its way. Whereas Euro's got ECB, weaker data. UK has last week's weaker data. Australia's got all the troubles from China. And so that's why Kiwi is kind of probably in CAD as its own data. This is why Kiwi probably performed the best because there's nothing going on. I'm still bearish Swiss francs. We also don't have much going on for Switzerland this week. And that is why Swiss yen is so weak. Swiss yen is actually one of my favorite trades for 2025 because, Switzerland is going to cut interest rates further. Bank of Japan is going to raise interest rates. So I'm bearish Swiss francs. And then we already talked about the Japanese yen, how I'm bullish the Japanese yen because of the BOJ rate hike. But we also, for those of you that are just joining us, laid out a trading plan where Kathy's game plan for the yen is to buy the yen until Thursday morning. Do not trade yen Thursday night. Back in yen for swing trades because we're going to have some wild volatility Friday morning. So this is my outlook for the week. And the calendar, we kind of walked through already all the data. But today is inauguration day. So U.S. markets are closed also because of Martin Luther King Day. Trump will be speaking at noon. Watch for more headline risk. I think we should all not be in positions at that time. Tonight we've got New Zealand PMIs. Tomorrow we have UK jobs data, and the most important number to watch will be average hourly earnings. Look at this; it's expected to jump a lot. So we get that; it's going to be really bullish for the British pound. German zoo survey, which will probably be a little weaker. CAD inflation data, which will probably be weaker because as we saw with the IV PMI, so this could really lift dollar CAD in the near term. We also have New Zealand inflation data, and that is probably going to be stronger because food prices increased. Wednesday, none of this matters. Maybe ECB President Lagarde speaking, but Wednesday we don't have any market moving data, but watch for more headline risk. Thursday, we have Canadian retail sales. I think that's going to be stronger because of stronger job growth. We also have Australian PMIs, probably going to be a little bit softer. And then we get to the big events, BOJ rate decision, 25 basis points expected. Then PMIs are very, very important. Eurozone PMIs, UK PMIs, most of which I think is going to be softer, although the market's looking for a manufacturing PMI from Germany to be better. And then the US has nothing really. Flash PMIs, because we have nothing to move on. The dollar may move on that. But really for the dollar, it's all going to be about headline risk. Taking a look at the text, dollar yen, as I said, I'm bearish dollar yen. I think dollar yen is going to test 155. There's moving average clearance there. Euro dollar verticalization, 104.50 is resistance. I think it's going to get there. I think it's going to stop there. Maybe even just shy of it, 104.45. Pound dollar, also verticalization today. It has not taken out this high, which I think is kind of interesting. But there's resistance at 124. We have a big data tomorrow, which is the UK jobs data. So that will be very, very important. Dollar Swiss is finding support. Doesn't look as good as dollar yen. I think dollar Swiss is a better trade than dollar yen. Sorry, dollar yen is a better trade than dollar Swiss. Aussie dollar rallying. No major data from Australia until Thursday evening. So I think Aussie and Kiwi are good ways to express any views for dollar weakness. Aussie dollar doesn't have resistance until 63.50. Kiwi dollar not until 57.50. So we definitely have some room to the upside here. And then dollar CAD, like I said, CAD inflation data I think is going to be softer. So I'd be a little careful about this. But support in dollar CAD is down here at 142.50, and then more significantly here, 140, probably 142 even. All right, question from Smart Chuck. With tariff talk unwinding, will China market pick up? It probably will, but I mean, remember, these headlines will go back and forth. There'll be good headlines, there'll be bad headlines. Headlines will be all over the place, and that is why we should be in and out of our trades quickly. When we have those profits, we should grab them, and that's the way we'll all have to be trading under the Trump administration, because there will be a lot of flip-flops. All right. Any other questions? Boris is here. He's going to be talking trading and showing some cool setups and tools. And otherwise, I hope you found today's session valuable. And I love how many of you joined us today. We've got more than 1,000 people in the room because none of you have anything better to do on Martin Luther King Day, right? Exactly. But, it was a really good opportunity to talk about a lot of this. It sounds like most of you think the BOJ is going to be one and done, right? Yeah, and hopefully, what I really hope is some of you made money this morning. I walked you through, but making money is important, but it's not as important as me explaining why we were doing things, why, I decided to put on a trade, why I decided to reload and tell you to get out for the plus 20, what the motivation for the trades are. So that's it. There are no other trades from me, Mutant. This was a bonus. I usually don't live trade on Mondays. Boris is the one that does, but we had the opportunity, and so I really wanted to share it with you.
Hi, guys. There is no live trading today because U.S. markets are closed. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's also Inauguration Day. So today is actually a perfect opportunity for us to take a little bit of a breather and talk about all the cool tools I developed for the BK trading community, all of which can be available to you guys off this link. Let me put the link in here. Right there. This is from our top 10 trades to watch webinar we did this Saturday. So on this link, you can actually watch the replay of the webinar and also get access to how you're going to be able to trade these tools. So I want to just try something right now. Hang on just one sec. I want to see if I can change my screens here. Stop, present, share. I wanted to share a window because I think this is going to give you a sharper view. Okay, yeah, I think it's a better, sharper view of my window so you guys can get to see it. So because the markets are quiet, I mean, they're basically closed for us today, it's a great chance for me to just walk you through in the next 5-10 minutes to some of the greatest tools I've been able to develop for the trading community. All of these tools, if you open an account with our partner ACAP, are absolutely free. There's also, if you're unable to open an account with ACAP, there's a way for you guys to get access to these tools. So this is my Flash Trader triple suite of trading tools. I'm going to go from the simplest to the most complex, and you are going to just absolutely love it because you can use these tools to scalp with me on an everyday basis or actually trade with Kathy on all of her forex trades. And I'm going to show you exactly how you could do all of this stuff just step by step. So let's start first and foremost with the simplest idea. I'm going to demonstrate everything on Bitcoin today. Our partners at ACAP, of course, trade every single crypto under the sun. But I think, given the fact that we have such excitement over the crypto market over the weekend, Bitcoin is just a perfect instrument for us to demonstrate all of this stuff. Okay. Yes, and you can get all of those trades. Kathy was actually just making a point that not only are you going to be able to get this whole suite of trading tools for free, but all of our signals for free on that particular link as well. All right, so let's just take a look at Bitcoin and just take a look at the average regular MetaTrader 5 trade in Bitcoin. I'm going to just simply buy Bitcoin here through MetaTrader 5. And the first thing you see is that, I bought it over here and there's no stop, there's no target. It's very, very cumbersome to put a stop and a target in MetaTrader. You'd have to go right click, you'd have to modify or delete. Then you'd have to put a stop loss and take profit, maybe, I don't know, in 1,000 points over here at each level like this. Notice how long it's taking me to do all of this, right? Maybe it's even 10,000 points because this thing is trading in I I don't know, 100,000 points, whatever. This is trading. Every single broker has a different demarcation of how they do this. So here we go. So, I bought it. 107, stop is 106, TP is 108. It just takes a very long time. As a matter of fact, look at this. I'm actually up on the product. So good. Now I can't even close it. Look at this. I can't even close it because it's so onerous. Look at this. Close, close, close. And it just only because I was lucky, to have bought it at the right time, I was able to close it. It was so slow for me to be able to just close the trade. Now, take this experience versus the experience that I'm just about to show you. This is our simplest and best, easiest product. It's called the Flash Trader. And what this does is it completely mimics the MetaTrader 5 layout, but it just makes your life so much easier to be able to manage and control trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to do 2 trades. I'm going to go long Bitcoin in one trade. So I'm going to buy Bitcoin and I'm going to sell Bitcoin in the other trade. Okay. And look how easy it was. First of all, I just made one single click and both the stop and the target and everything, appeared right then and there. But more importantly, you see this little close button? If I close this, if I hit this close button, it will close this ticket right away. I don't have to, muck around and find where I need to get this little particular close thing and get myself out of the whole position. You see how this says I'm up 45 points, 74 points? All I got to do is hit close. But better than yet, I can also close all. See, I close both positions completely. See, I can do 1, 2, 3, everything at a click of a button. Let's do this again. Let's go buy this over here. Let's go sell this over here, right? Now we have 2 positions. But here's what I want to show you that's even cooler. Suppose I want to change my take profit to a different level. Let's say just to maybe 10 points, 10 Bitcoin points. Look how easy it was. I just pressed in 10 and boom, it's going to instantaneously change my take profits, right? So let's see if it's actually going to hit my take profits. It needs to break the spread, obviously. So the spread is around 30 pips. So it may, it's got to break the spread in order for me to hit my take profit. But the point is that I can change my take profit and my stop. There we go. And that now my take profit got done without me looking at it. And all I got to do is just say close all when I'm out of the whole position. So look how easy it is for me to manage my trades in an instant. And we know that, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin just moved 200 points in a matter of seconds. And if you're trading Bitcoin or if you're trading NASDAQ, you need fast execution. This is the fastest, cleanest, simplest point and click execution you could possibly imagine. I did this essentially because I saw how frustrating it was for traders to do point and click trading with risk control, with the ability to manage and stops and targets instantaneously. And we created the whole tool for you just to make it easier. But I went one step further, right? So let me show you what Flash Trader Plus is all about. I'm going to put Flash Trader Plus on this screen and this screen. So now we have 2 screens that have Flash Trader Plus on it. So Flash Trader Plus is kind of like the swing trading version of Flash Trader. What that does is it allows you to manage 2 positions at once. So I'm going to put let's say, again, same idea. I'm going to go long Bitcoin, 1,000 stop. First target will be 100. The second target will be 200 on my Bitcoin. So I'm going to just simply buy this like this. And what it's going to do is if this thing rallies 100 points, it will take half the position off and automatically move the stop to break even. It will automatically manage my stop completely. So let's do the same thing over here. We'll do 1,000 point stop. We'll sell it over here just to see which side of the force works. But it doesn't matter because look at this. It already went to break even on my long position, and now I can't lose money on my long position. I'm at break even on my long position. I've locked in profit, and I made money on my long position, right? But that's not all. That's not all. So I'll close out all these positions. I'll hit close all because I want to show you something else that's really, really cool. We'll hit the reset button. That's not all. Suppose let's do something interesting. Let's do gold versus Bitcoin, right? Because 2 kind of similar assets, right? Suppose you wanted to trade one asset against the other asset. Let's say you were bullish gold, but bearish Bitcoin, or bullish Bitcoin, bearish gold. How would you create a trade that's equal in size? It's gold is 2,000, Bitcoin is 107. You got to calculate the lots. It's very, very complicated, right? Watch this. All you have to do is you say, I want to trade $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, right over here, and I want to trade $10,000 worth of gold. And we'll automatically tell you how much of each you got to buy and how much of each you have to sell. So in this particular case, let's just say I want to go short Bitcoin, long gold. I am now, and look at this. I forgot to stop on my Bitcoin. Now watch how cool this is. I'm going to put the stop right now in here, and instantaneously I got my stop. So even though I, forgot it, I instantaneously got my stop, and it's right then and there. So now I basically am equal amount Bitcoin, equal amount gold. Totally easy to manage this. And I showed you a couple of pairs trades in our top 10 trades webinar where you could employ this super easily all the time. So this is a great tool for anybody who trades swing, for anybody who trades a lot of Kathy's trades, because of course you can use this on forex, and she loves to go short exit, long exit, like she does a lot of her swing trades this way. All of this fully and automatically managed. But that's not all, because this is a triple suite, right? I told you I have a super surprise for you. So let's close all over here. And by the way, look how fast it is. I hit close all, boom. Do you know how many of you, raise a hand, give me in chat, wanted the ability to just close everything all at once because maybe you hit the wrong button. Maybe you're in total profit and you want to close the whole position. Maybe you just want a clean plate and you can't do it because you're hitting the wrong button and you're doing it one by one, and it's just so annoying. And sometimes you miss everything that you wanted to do, and by the time you hit it, you're late to the exit. How annoying is that? How many of you who've traded in MetaTrader have had that experience? Raise your hand. Give me a yes if you've done that. Because I'm certain that many of you have suffered that fate. Never again. The close all button is the greatest thing I invented. Boom, done. Less than a millisecond, and you're gone. So that alone, to me, is just an unbelievably valuable piece of it. But as I said, that's not all. Let's get really funky, okay? So those of you who live trade with me every single day know that what I do is something called tranche trading, which is a very fancy French word by saying I like to portion my trades. I don't come into my position one size fits all. I like to scale it in, scale out of my positions, right? So here's a tool that makes your life so much easier. And this is a tool when we trade live London. And by the way, this week I'm going to be on the road, so unfortunately there'll be no London live trading. I'm only going to do two live trades this week, tomorrow and Wednesday for New York. But next week after that, I'm back. I'm back from my travels. We're going to go crazy with all these tools. But in the meantime, while I have you, let me show you how I can do tranche trading, and I'm going to go full screen on this one so you guys can really appreciate the beauty of this little tool. So this is my Flash Trader dashboard, right? Let's imagine I want to be long Bitcoin, and I want to be long Bitcoin in portions. So I'm going to buy market. First of all, by the way, I totally screwed this up. This is really, really good. I screwed everything up. I forgot to put stops. I forgot to put targets. Now watch what I can do. I can put a stop, hit the R button, and the stop propagates. I can put a target, hit the R button, and it propagates to every single level, right? My mistake, it doesn't matter. It propagates to every single level. Now, remember I said I like to buy in tranches. I like to buy in levels. So the hardest part about all of this is how do you figure out all these levels? Now I'm just going to go to my limit position, hit the R button, and this is going to populate my dashboard with my exact entry price. Look, my entry price is 107,578, 107,578. Now, all I got to do is I want to do minus 200, come in at minus 200, come in at minus 400, whatever you want to do. And I can go as many levels as possible. Unfortunately, I'm not even going to get the trade because I think it's going to take TP on me before I even get the tranches. Now it lays out, and then I'm done. So all my great explanations whenever I want to demo, I always make profits, right? Whenever I want to lose, I always make profits. So I couldn't quite show you what this thing will do. And I promise you, and I'll be happy to show this to you in live over and over again, is if this thing goes down, comes down to the next level, it will buy the next level. And this is the coolest part. And when it rallies, it will move the targets to all one level. You know how when I trade tranches, and this is complicated for some of you who may not know this, and it's fine. You don't have to get into the wonky details, but it's a nightmare of inventory management. When we're buying like 3 levels, we got to then adjust all our targets to that one level to make sure that we exit all cleanly at the one level. And we do this manually, and I'm always scrambling around especially when I'm trading futures in New York, and I'm always screaming and I'm always dropping F-bombs because I have to manage all this inventory. None of this is a problem anymore. This auto manages my inventory. I can go 20 levels deep and it will exit out all at profit automatically. I literally have walked away from the screen, laid these out, come back, and everything was in TP without me doing a single thing. This is an amazingly cool tool for those people that like to scalp with me in a tranche trading way. So whether you are just a pure point and click trader, whether you're a swing trader that wants to use this for Kathy's ideas and anything else, whether you want to do pairs trades, you want to trade one instrument against the other instrument in equal size, or whether you want to get absolutely degenerate with me and scalp your way to continuity, you are welcome to do all of this anytime with all these tools that I developed. As I said, I'm going to put the link over here, top trend trades to watch. Take a look at the link. And be sure to go and sign up, because I think you're going to really, really enjoy it either way. Now, I'm going to leave the floor for a few questions. If you guys have any questions, see if you guys really like this. But, whichever way you want to do this, these tools are absolutely amazing. And they're super, super cool to use, 100 different ways. So any questions, anything else on your thoughts on all of this? First of all, do you guys like it? Give me a couple of thumbs up if you guys like these tools, if you find them to be valuable. Yes, no? Everybody's super quiet. Everybody who's on Twitter, who's watching me on Twitter, I will post the link to get the tools on Twitter. As a matter of fact, let me do it right now. Let me go on Twitter. So you guys, I'm not even going to make you guys come to YouTube to get this link. Let me just do this. Hang on. Post for Twitter viewers. If only I could spell the word viewers. Here's the link. I put it up there. Go ahead, get crazy with it. So if you're any kind of a MetaTrader, trader, this just makes your life so much easier. If you trade forex, if you trade crypto, if you trade CFDs, if you trade Nasdaq US 30, this is going to make your life completely measurable. By the way, so I have here 3 tranches because this is really sort of like the minimum that I like to do. But if just to show you how cool this tool is, if we go into its properties, right? And let's say I want to change the value to literally 10 tranches, right? Watch this. Watch this. Boom. Look at this. Full 10 tranches. If you want to be a totally insane person, you can manage 10 positions all in one thing. Or, if you're going to be obviously a little bit more sane, maybe you want to just do 4 tranches. You can do 4 tranches over here. See, anything you want to do, this thing will do for you. It's amazing. It's a really, really cool tool. It's totally visual. It's what we call front of the chart tool, meaning that you don't have to do anything in the back of this thing to configure it. Once you configure it, it's on your chart and it works just like the point and click MetaTrader works. It completely and totally mimics the whole MetaTrader experience. So anybody who's got a MetaTrader account, I think should really enjoy it. I made it very much with your interest in mind. Okay, my friends, a lot of fun. I'm very, very psyched. I think this is going to be an amazing, amazing year in trading. Go watch our top 10 trades. I think you'll find them very, very interesting. I think, Trump, whether you love him or hate him, is going to be wonderful for volatility, and volatility is going to be great for trading. I think crypto is going to be the story of 2025. Whether you agree or disagree with whatever happened over the weekend, what you cannot deny is the amount of liquidity, the amount of interest is generated, and I think it's also going to be just more and more. So we're going to be trading this both in London and even in New York, and I'm going to show you. These tools are going to make it super easy for us to do all of this stuff. So hopefully you guys really enjoy it. I mean, Bitcoin today, I was just literally fooling around with Bitcoin. Where am I? Just literally nothing, right? And I was just fooling around. And if I wanted to, I could have made probably about $300-400. I was using very, very small sizes to just buying this long. Today was just such an easy trade to just go long crypto if you wanted to do that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys put it to good use. This is, in my opinion, the best tools in the market to get what you need done. Thanks again, guys. I'll see everybody tomorrow for New York. Two sessions this week: New York on Tuesday and New York on Wednesday. So we'll trade those. Otherwise, everybody have a wonderful day, and good luck in the markets. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.